Hey, I'm John with WAVwatch, and I'd like to show you a little bit about optimizing your battery on the WAVwatch 2.0. I turned the unit on with a long press on the button. I'm first actually going to talk about charging and utilizing the cable that shipped with your unit. As you saw, this was the top of the unit and the bottom. And this magnetic cable is designed to attach from the bottom side. If you attempt to attach it from the top, the polarization of the magnets will not prevent that, will not allow that to work. All right. Additionally, when you plug this unit in, the USB-A, it will not only it will turn the watch on, and you can just touch the button and that will make the screen go dark, but the watch does remain on when it's charging. I also want to mention that the size of the charging block you use will affect the length of charge, meaning you'll get a faster charge off of a block that provides a bit more power. And we are averaging just under 2 hours on a good charge for one of these units. And so if you're having a charge that's going slower than that, maybe think about finding a little bit more powerful block to put it with. One last thing is that sometimes these can get gummed up with maybe some hand lotion or other things, and make sure if you're having any issues charging, that you can maybe use a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol or water and try to keep these things clean, as well as very gently cleaning this charging cable. To the watch itself, we have noticed that the battery gauge can be a little bit jumpy, and kind of reminds me of my Honda Pilot sometimes, in that I seem to be able to get a lot more usage out of the bottom part of the tank, meaning sometimes we've found 2 and 3 hours worth of frequencies out of the last 15%. And so just because your battery might be looking like it's at 15% doesn't mean that the unit is dead. It's just some battery gauging issues that we're working through, and we're currently working on some different solutions in the long term and in the short term to help with that. So I'm going to show you a few other things about optimizing that and the battery usage of the device. So in your settings folder, which I found by touching this, so I went here and then touched the top half of the device, and then we're in settings, and then your watch face is not necessarily going to change the battery life, but the display is. So display brightness, it can go all the way up to 5. I'm at a 2 or a 3 for video purposes. And the backlight timer is something that definitely can affect your battery life. I recommend about 20 seconds, which means if I don't touch this device for 20 seconds, then the screen will go dark. It will go black like such. And then it can be woken up with just a short press of that button. And then if you were to select always on, that means that the screen itself will never turn off unless you do push this button. And so that's the difference in these 10, 20, 30 seconds and always on. Additionally, you've got time and date, language, and then below that we have two things that could definitely affect your user experience with this device. So the time shutdown is by default off. So blue being on and this grayed out being off. But if it was on, if the timed shutdown was on, then in 3 hours, my WAVwatch would shut off, okay? And that's just it's a time shutdown if you wanted it to be on for a certain amount of time and then shut itself off. All right, I prefer that to be off. And then lastly, we have power saving. So what that does is by default, your unit comes shipped with this on. And what happens is if you play a frequency and then there's no more frequencies after that in the folder, then in 3 minutes, the whole device will shut itself down. That's just to preserve battery power. If you would like for the device to remain on so you can utilize it as a watch, then I would recommend turning this function off as well. So that is on and off. So again, power saving is a way to, once the device is done playing frequencies, if it's on like this, then it will shut itself off in a certain amount of time that you select here. So I'm going to recommend that off just because I want to be able to use the watch later. Additionally, one other thing besides the screen time and how much your screen is on, one other thing really can affect your battery life, which is the volume that your playing frequency is at. So there's the WAVwatch going, but on the volume side, we really prefer a volume of between 1 and 2. And we do not recommend a 0 because you're not going to get any sound and any benefit from it potentially. But like I said, we recommend a 1 or 2. And so to preserve battery life, you want that instead of going all the way up to 9 or 10. You really want it to be in that range as well. And then also keep in mind that it's designed to preserve battery power. It's designed to be woken up by a quick press on this button. Since we're kind of talking about some troubleshooting things, I want to also reiterate that this hole is not a reset hole, so please don't poke anything in there, and that will help maintain the water resistance of your WAVwatch. And we do appreciate your choosing WAVwatch, and look forward to hearing from you guys about your experiences.